Episode 1, Land of the Free, Cyberpunk 2020 adventure, which we will be loosely following. I will be referring back to the module from time to time, but it is very granular and is very concerned with what if these people don't do what it says that they should be doing. So we'll see what happens. Veil 2020 is a retro cyberpunk game loosely based on the Veil, which means we take the primary die mechanic from it, throw in some World of Dungeons and some white hack and see what pops out. And then we add in a whole bunch of pick lists and buy lists from Cyberpunk 2020 and other systems. And the end result is hopefully people can run Cyberpunk 2020 modules as we're doing now, and possibly even other things like Shadowrun and whatnot. We use the same currency as Cyberpunk 2020 as well, the Eurodollar, but we're going to be PBTA style building our own retro future as we go. We'll just be using the stylistic elements of retro futurism, and we'll go from there. I don't want to be too beholden to the scenario and the home of the brave, which is the dystopic American complete setting, which is very comprehensive. If you ever look at that document, if you thought about anything in America, it has its a spot for that. They thought about a lot of the stuff, including lots of economics and things happening. So, while impressive, I prefer that we all participate in the world instead of referencing it in the module. So we'll see how this goes. Let us introduce the characters. I'll go from left to right in order, which means that it's alphabetical. Alex, would you like to introduce your character, please?
Yes, sure. My character, their name is Iota. They use they, them pronouns. They are a word I've forgotten. Booster, which is mostly using cybernetics to fuck people up better. They have a lot of... So they have a sword. It probably has some sort of... Oh, yes, I've written neon yellow blade. And other than that, most of their enhancements are... They have synth skins, which means that they can sort of change the color and texture of their skin, but otherwise everything is sort of as hidden as possible. Like, they have optical implants and audio implants and subdermal armor. So their look, like the clothes they wear, is very like I don't know, very casual, like Saturday, like yoga pants and like a loose top and stuff. But, you know, most of their cool shit you can't see right away.
Is it like, okay, so it's more up to date than the like track pant movement of the 90s though, right? It's like the yoga movement instead, right? Like the Lulu people.
Yeah, sure. Unless, I mean, I would also be fine with track pant movement if that's...
Well, doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I just want to know what's happening in my head.
Okay, yeah. The picture I took from the Pinterest has like a very loose fitting sweater that felt very like 80s to me. So maybe it's more like the 80s loose sweatshirts and like stirrup pants kind of deal.
Search it up pants.
That's right.
Yeah. Awkward silence. Cool. Is that all you had to say about them? What about pronouns for your character?
They, them.
Cool. Can you go to the gear in Roll20 under my settings, display name at the very top, put in your character's name and their pronouns, and then your name as the player and your pronouns as well. And then that way everybody can reference them at the bottom. And cool. Can Darren introduce your character?
I would love to. My character's name is Omen. He goes by masculine pronouns. Omen is also a booster, and Omen also has a sword, and Omen also has synth skin. Because those were the best options. So Omen also has wired reflexes, which is where the majority of my money went. So he's a speedy boy. He wears, I don't know what his hair looks like yet. I couldn't decide, but I think it's like a little bit longer, and it's pulled back out of his face in like a roll. He probably uses a rubber band, which is very bad for your hair, but he doesn't know better. So he's got that, and then he's got like a muscle tank on, the ones that are like cut off, you know what I mean? That are like the shirt slowly being destroyed. And then some like loose fitting sweats and a sword sheath that's probably not on his body appropriately. And that's it. That's him.
Cool. I like that. Ed, do you want to introduce your character, please?
Sure. My character's name is Virtual Doom. She just goes by Doom. She uses she, her pronouns. She's a pusher, which means she's kind of intrinsically tied into the network. Her specialty is data acquisition. Basically, if there's data out there on the network, she can find it. And she does. And she keeps it, and she holds it over people until they give her money, and that's how she pays her rent.
So it's kind of like a go-between for data.
She can do that. Also, like blackmail or data runs for people who are looking to get corporate data from somebody else's systems.
Cool. Awesome. And what do they look like?
She dresses very business attire. Maybe a little not work appropriate, sexy business attire. But she works for herself, so other than that, I think she looks, clean, sexy, professional businesswoman. She looks very, very normal for cyberpunk.
An age?
I think late 20s, early 30s.
Cool. Alrighty. And technically, that puts you as a pusher in the game, right? The class. Cool.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Cool. Lauren, you're next.
Awesome. That's super appropriate because I feel like I'm also playing a pusher, but this pusher is the antithesis of Ed's pusher, and that she's probably like 1920. I think she is a DJ, and that's how she gets her funds and stuff. She just like does gigs and that kind of thing. Super like angry young punk person, kind of like keen for any jobs that just like fuck shit up pretty much, and for what she wears, it's just like I just have such a love of bomber jackets, so she's gonna have a bomber jacket, and I think much like her picture, she has like pins and stuff like of cool memes that are going around right now in our retro future, and much like in the image, I think she just also has like those permanent goggles on her face that she never like takes off and stuff, and I think like she like Jackson. I'm through those goggles and that kind of thing. So she's like kind of always perceiving the veil and perceiving like this virtual reality and stuff all the time. She's super addicted to technology and that kind of thing. I think she's got a sword. Obviously she has a sword because only like cool people have swords. And I think that's about all I had for her.
Cool. Shade throwing with the swords. I like it. Sydney, would you like to introduce your character, please?
Hello, I am playing Ratchet. Ratchet is an ace, which means that he's a specialist in something. And Ratchet is linked to his bike, which is called the Duke. It is a cool futuristic motorbike. Roadworks Shiva high performance. He has a sweet leather jacket and a set of like rings that are different skulls. So like one of them is the shape of a bird skull, and one of them's like a deer skull, and one of them's like a snake skull. And then he has a necklace which is in the shape of a human skull, and it's because he's tough and a punk. Ratchet wears his leather jacket, rides around on his bike. He doesn't have a sword. He's too cool for a sword. Instead, he has a large shotgun. Yeah, I think his vibe is that very like early 20s rebellion kind of thing. Face tattoo. I did forget to talk about his face tattoo. I have now told you everything you need to know about his face tattoo.
Okay. Sounds good. And you're an ace, so what are you linked to?
I am linked to the Duke, my bike.
The Duke.
Yep.
I like that. And
it's like a really long cord. It's like a physical link.
Oh, okay. Nice. I was like, is that a type of bicycle that I don't know about? A long cord. Cool. And all right. In chat, people keep saying that they forget to talk about things, so just make sure that when we see you on screen next, that you bring up the things that you want to talk about. So, yeah, the first thing I want to do is let's introduce the setting a little bit. I want to know what kind of retro future thing we're in with y'all. So, right now, everyone is in New York, and for the purposes of the module, the only thing we're going to take from it that it says is that a nuke went off in New York at one point, but it's at a place that I can't remember, the something. Rockefeller Center. That's where it blew up. So officially 15,000 people died, but the outer boroughs and just the island apparently is down and under, but everybody else can still be doing well, and there's vast amounts of wealth that are sort of to be made in the city, even, it says, because things are buried under rubble, like jewelry shops and things like that's going on there. So retro stuff is a lot of neon action going on. There's like generally lots of bisexual lighting in that artwork and movement and such. Rocker fellow station, yeah. Rocker something, that rock guy, he died. But as we come in on New York City, I want to know what it is that we see as an audience. Imagine a tracking shot down these streets, right? To show that it's cyberpunk and that it's retro. And yeah, so remember that cyberpunk, I forgot to ask you guys if you're all steeped in the genre or not, but cyberpunk is high-tech, low-life, so definitely things like stratification of class, and as cyberpunks in Cyberpunk 2020 anyway, you're also part of this like underground movement. So think of the punk movement, except that you have all of those trappings tied in with the cyber aspect of things. So part of what makes you part of this subculture is the special tattoos and the specific stuff that you wear that is like against mainstream or appropriating mainstream things to subvert it. And yeah, so you're like a subclass basically within it that is emergent, and the authorities are like have you as a known quantity, you'd be like pulled over and hassled by people quite frequently and often if they saw you wearing this stuff. And you have a sort of underground reputation that is very important as far as Cyberpunk 2020 module goes, which is like you keep your word. It's kind of like a John Wicky thing, right? Where like there's a stated honor system basically, and when you deliver and do what you say you do, your clout and your rep builds. And Cyberpunk in general is very anti-authoritarian and do-it-yourself movement stuff. And yeah, so knowing that, what do we see in a tracking shot that makes this place cyberpunk and retro? Alex, do you have an idea?
I'm always a big fan of like layered cities, whereas like there's the sidewalks that are like get some sunlight and then like you go down and it's like there's mostly artificial light here and it's sort of dirty and doesn't get a lot of fresh air and that sort of look. So I think maybe something like that.
Cool. And it looked like Ed, you had an idea. You unmuted for a sec there.
Yeah, I like the idea. Like, I really like the visual impact of cities like Kowloon in Hong Kong, or the favelas in Rio de Janeiro, and I'm thinking we see like the sides of buildings that are still standing after the blast, and they're open on the sides, and people have just sort of adapted to living in these high-rise office buildings as just slum apartments, and they've built wooden platforms out from them. They've got all sorts of wires and cables running between them. They've got their laundry strung out outside of these, 30 or 40 story buildings. So that's what I'd like to see.
Cool. Darren, do you have an idea?
Yes. I think that the surface streets aren't really, aside from like maybe some people on the sidewalk, the surface streets aren't used except by people who can afford cars. And like cars are probably actually a luxury item. So maybe there's like shitty public transportation or something
Is
like
it
or public.
Are the cars in the retro future for this one particularly like flying and all that kind of stuff? Or are they like ground vehicles?
I think they're ground vehicles. I think the trains are up in the sky.
Okay.
That's too fantastical. But I mean, like there are metro systems that aren't built underground anymore, and then to get them off of the surface so that the cars can drive and they're a luxury, they're built onto like sides of the buildings and things like that. So like the wooden platforms are probably like hanging right over the track. So there's like trains going right underneath these people's patios,
Cool.
houses.
And is it like, do the trains look like the trains that we know today? Are they like futuristic looking, like grab things that make no noise? Or is it like gritty old pieces of junk New York metro things that are like rattling the buildings and shaking things and stuff?
I think it's like a mishmash of both, because I think the like gravity mag stuff makes sense so it can go on a building. I'm thinking like literally on the side of a building, right?
Yeah.
But I think that like the carriages are like very shitty. Like it's as if they just took the MTA cars and then stuck a magnetic strip on the bottom.
Nice.
And
So
then
it's
they're
like
like,
retrofitted.
you guys gotta flip the chairs around if you want to sit, I guess.
I think
So,
they're probably supposed to be super quiet, like a maglev train is super quiet, but they make these terrible like buzzing sounds because they're all out of alignment.
Yeah, exactly.
So you still get that like roaring sound of a train going by.
But
it just sounds like a bunch of angry electric insects.
Oh yeah, that's worse. Maybe.
Cool. Does anyone else have a thing that they want to add?
I've got so many ideas. One thing I'm like a super sucker for, speaking of public transport, is like tube travel. Where like but it sounds like we've got a cool like train system going on. So I won't introduce like when you get sucked up into a tube and like whiz down the street in a tube. But the other thing I dig about New York is like when I went there, I didn't realize how much like the architecture and stuff talks about the culture for each like part of it and things like that. And I kind of dig that some of the older buildings have like Jetsons rings around them, like the Empire State kind of has like the funky like Jetsons rings around the spire and stuff. And there's like quadrants of New York that have picked up like this Jetsons aesthetic.
Cool.
I'm surprising absolutely no one. I'm going to talk about food. I think there's like these small shops that are like starting to crowd out onto the street, selling like really cheap volumes of proteins and meats, and it's like that like ground cockroach protein sort of thing that and like a lot of insects and it still carries that real South American vibe that's in a lot of places in New York, where like you've got these like insect street tacos being sold out, and then I think one shot that really digs for me is like a street soup kitchen kind of thing, like with a missionary feeding the homeless and the poor, and it's just like squares of like this brown gray gelatinous all in one object just sitting on the middle of the plate, and then next to it is like this washed out brown water served like in the can that the brown stuff came from.
Cool. I dig it. There's also acid rain and fallout from I think they said 20 years ago or something like that. This bomb went off during some crazy wars that were happening that I didn't pay too much attention to in the module, to be honest. But yeah, I like the idea that there's lots of rain and people are having to actually use umbrellas, otherwise it like can begin to sting your skin for a little bit after it stays there. And we get the typical neon lights, lots of like I imagine when any of these vehicles are going by, we get the Akira taillight action, right, trailing behind them, and a very 90s aesthetic look in general. Aside from, I do like that we're replacing the tracksuits with the Lulu wear. I would like that very much because I hate the track movement look. is not good. It's very much like all I can think of now is like Hawkeye with the Russians that beat him up all the time in the tracksuits. They've like appropriated that look in my head for me, so we'll just be cutting that out. But you guys have all finished a run beforehand, and you have a meet set up with somebody named Elliot Weir. They are a fixer. Mechanically, if you would like to know, they are level 3. Big deals. And the word on the street is that they have a good reputation. They don't like mess with cyberpunks or set them up or anything like that. All of their jobs have been good and clean and paid well. And I will put a picture of Elliot up. He looks kind of grungy. Here's Elliot. Tiny Elliot, make bigger. Oh, that's... There you go. So Elliot has got the typical 90s cyberpunk action going on, in that he is wearing sunglasses, probably mirror shades that are round. His hair is kind of scraggly. He's got a leather jacket on, He's got 90s pouches, of course, because where else are you going to put your cell phone in the 90s, right? You got to have the clips on your belt. And yeah, it basically is not particularly concerned with ascribing himself to the punk movement or the cyberpunk movement. He looks like a casual Joe and likes to keep himself on like the DL instead of make a overt statement with his appearance. And he smokes a lot. He has a job set up for you. He is attempting to recruit a team that is already together and basically wants to cut a deal with as minimum hassle as possible. He's known for like getting rid of groups that cause too much trouble for him, right? Like he's not into that. He's more about finding a good group where he doesn't have to deal with anything. He just is like a middleman, and that's it. That's his reputation. And I didn't even have to make you roll for it, which in the module they're like, roll reputation. If they have more than 13, they've heard of him. So I'm just going to say that you've heard of him because he wants you to work for him. And that makes sense. So let's see. Where's the cool meeting? Maybe the opening shot is you guys waiting at one of those dilapidated buildings that have been outwardly built to get some of the squatters' life in there. But they're out at the moment, so we get like the shot of the decks being built out, and the train is coming, and I think he's like basically engineered it so that you should be entering a specific train on the side of the building at a specific time, and that is the meet, right? You'll talk business on this particular train, which I don't know, what's a good line for the subway in New York, Sydney, or Lauren, who have been there before.
They're numbers and letters, right?
Yeah.
And they're colors.
Oh, are they?
That's very boring.
Yeah. I lived there for a couple of years. I mean, they're like so the MTA used to be made of two different train companies, and they came together. And so some of them are letters because that was like the IRT, and some of them are numbers because that was the Metro Transit Authority. But I mean, it could be anything now.
Yeah. So maybe it's just like colors or something like that.
We could give a letter.
The cyan line.
Yeah.
Cyan line. Taupe. Get on the taupe. It's underused line. So yeah. Cool. Get on the
But
taupe.
they're all brown lines. Yeah, I think they should all be brown lines because they're all just filthy.
Oh, like it used to be taupe, but then it got all dirty and gross and shit, and now people can't tell the difference anyway. So he's like, yeah, he'll just say like a time, a specific place, and that'll be like the opening shot after the different cuts on the camera showing you the city. Think of it as like Ghost in the Shell type thing where we get like these different tracking shots of people walking around and showing us the city and stuff. But then the actual shot with the characters is just you standing on like the precipice of this whatchamacallit, platform, such as it is, waiting for the train. And as you get on, I think the lights go out, right? And there's probably like tons of graffiti, and it's all like, you know, somewhat nasty, doesn't smell great. And I guess the train shifts vertically up and down, and you have to like grab onto the handrails. And the lights go off and then in again, and in the far portion of the specific train that you're supposed to get in is Elliot Weir waiting for you all. And he sort of just like is like halfway through a cigarette already and beckons you closer and says like, I've heard good things, and that's where we'll take our first 5-minute break. Sounds good. because it's an hour and a half in already, and I forgot until I just looked at the time. So let's come back at 30. We'll just come back at 35. Does that sound good? Cool.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Oh,
So, yeah, he's smoking there. He's the smoking man. And he will give you exposition. I mean, speak to you. So the pitch for the job is... Oh, they have written exactly what I am to say to you. So, I am representing a man who wants someone extracted. It's a big job. It'll be a tough extraction, and there's a follow-up. The extractee needs to be escorted to Night City by air. My client is willing to pay well, however, and we have inside information that will make the extraction go easier. Also, if you don't want to stay in Night City, we'll fly you anywhere you want to go after the job, back to New York or somewhere else if you like. And then he says that you will be paid 5,000 EB, as they say, half now, half up front. I have already told you guys to spend that money because I didn't want to say that you only had $500 and then get to this point and then you guys shop while we're recording for like an hour. So, yeah, that's the thing. Let's see. Questions. Does anyone have questions for Elliot Weir about this job?
when he says by air, does that mean like we'll go to take this person to the airport?
Yeah.
Okay. There's no expectation that we have like a plane.
No. He'll, like, assuming that you accept it, he has like a prepaid service card thing that will let you book a specific flight on a luxury cruiser thing, which I have a picture of. It looks funny. I will post it. But yeah, he will be the one, or rather his client will be the one providing the air, not y'all need to buy an airship. Otherwise, I would have let you know that. And it's kind of like think of it as like a luxury airline by way of like a blimp, pretty much, is what it is. Yeah, it's interesting. Uber air calling. Yes, there's Uber.
So we just have to get someone out and then go to the airport?
Yes, you got to extract them. But what he basically, he says he's going to be your contact, so you won't like have to deal with this person at all. So you'll be, both of you will be insulated from the job, right? And I gave you Elliot's vid phone card. That is a vid phone card right there with his phone number. There's props in the game, so I get to use them. And you will also have a contact in Night City, and if you're delayed along the way, you'll get 200 EB per day per person plus expenses. It says that you should write down the expenses that I am not going to worry about. He would like a detailed list, apparently, of your expenditures. And we'll just say that you do that. And then he waits. Apparently he has more to say, but you have to accept the job first, and then he'll give you the real deets.
New York City blows anyway. I'm in.
Yeah, it sounds fun. Let's do it.
I've already spent the advance.
Well,
That's true.
He's sneaky that way. Sweet. Okay, so if you are in, he'll also give you a debit card, and I'm supposed to give you the debit card. I guess it's credit card. Must be this. There's a lot of props in this game, just a heads up. I like them, but I also don't like them. Okay, so this is the cred card you're to use. The Bank of Aruba, apparently. And he gives you the PIN number for it. Bank in Aruba in the Caribbean. doesn't tell you how much is on the account. If you ask him, the only thing he says is, enough. Yes, I like that. Let's see what else.
I am sorely tempted to test that enough and see just how enough there is on that card.
Well, then you would have no cyberpunk honor. Your rep would go down. Elliot Weir would be pissed.
He has a business card. He's not cyberpunk.
No,
Come on.
it specifically says he won't worry about the characters backing out or spilling the beans. A handshake deal is all you need as a cyberpunk. So, back out after an agreement and you'll never work
Wow.
again. Reputation is one of the few things that a punker takes along when he or she relocates. The score is this. Weir has been contracted by a man who works at a lab in a large warehouse building in Brooklyn along the East River. It's not a great neighborhood. Weir doesn't show who owns the lab. But, I probably am not supposed to tell you that. But you're to extract a girl named Adriana Young. She lives in the lab and has not been seen to leave it recently. He gives you a photograph. I have a photograph. I don't have a photo. I'll get that in a bit. One thing's for sure, though, based on this module, she is conventionally very attractive. It really wants you to know that.
She doesn't leave the lab? She lives there?
She hasn't been seen to leave it recently.
Is she getting paid overtime?
I don't know. She is about 20 years old and is very beautiful. I'm saying conventionally beautiful because this is written in the 90s. She knows she is due to be extracted, and the extraction has been arranged by her father, Francis Young, who also works at the lab.
So we have proof of life in some way.
Proof of life.
That like she's not just dead.
She's not dead?
Yeah.
Why would you extract a dead person? What do you mean?
Like, so she's been talking to her dad or something so that we know that she's alive?
Well, I mean, ostensibly you can infer that the client is most likely her dad, but we don't know this for sure because this is a world of cloaks and mirrors, right? Yes. Who knows?
I got a 12 on my insight roll, Fraser.
Okay, nice.
Has her dad left the lab?
Yes. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what Dr. Young does at the lab or what Adriana does at the lab. And she must be escorted to Night City on an airship and handed over to a contact. The girl is due to be moved from the lab at 4:30 a.m. the day after tomorrow. She is to be taken in an escorted armored van at Kennedy International Airport, where she will be placed on a private plane to a secret destination. Or you can directly strike at the lab before the girl leaves, or try to take out the van somewhere between the warehouse and the airport. You have free reign.
I think our best bet's going to be to take her either as she's transferred from the corp to the van or from the van to the airplane. Probably the van to the airplane because from the corp to the van is going to be on corporate property.
The flight is scheduled for 10 a.m. the day after tomorrow, 5.5 hours after girl is due to be moved. So he suggests that you execute the job in 48 hours to make it so that you escort and then go directly to the airport. And once you're airborne for an hour, you're to call Weir and make arrangements for the rest of the mission, essentially. And he also says during the meeting where we'll say to the characters, I don't believe in leaving much to chance. In case there are any problems, I'm going to give you half of a cipher. If things go wrong, you'll find the second half. I wish I could explain more now, but I don't want to jeopardize the mission if everything runs smoothly. Hold on to this just in case. Just in case.
Wait a minute, where are we gonna find the second half?
We'll cross that bridge when we have to. I mean, ostensibly, it'll be fine. Here's the cipher. It's a weird thing.
Okay, what if we just hijack the plane that she's getting on? And then we fly it to Night City.
You want to hijack the plane with everybody else on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't mind going to Night City.
Well, I mean, it's a private plane. It's possible that they're just like bundling her onto it and taking just her to Night City. So if it's just her, then I don't see why not to hijack the plane and take it instead.
Weir says that the private plane that they've arranged will make it so that you won't be able to be tracked for one, though, as opposed to this one will be instantly trackable, and they'll probably be able to extrapolate.
Oh, it's a stealth zeppelin.
Yeah, I guess so. Sure. I'll give you the picture of it because they look pretty interesting. There's a lot of things to give people in this game. So here's
Can I
the
bum
picture.
a cigarette off of Elliot, please?
Yes, he gives you a cigarette.
Thank you, Elliot.
No problem. So here's the picture of a typical airship port. And it's like when we get there, if we get there, it's very like a leisure one that they've booked. Loaded to the nines. So, does anyone else have any more questions?
What kind of security? Oh, sorry, Lauren, go.
Oh, you go. I'm a polite punk.
I'm only going to do it because otherwise we'll be stuck here in a Yugo for 10 minutes. What kind of security are we expecting?
In which plan?
All of the above. No, to be moving with her. I think that's going to be.
Okay, so to hit it when they're moving, attacking the.
How many guys are going to be in the truck?
Oh, you're
at the airport.
You're. Oh, try talking some more. You were roboting there.
Sorry. My system's a little slow right now. I was asking if we know how many people
you're still like you're very robot-y or something. Something's happening. It's like all staticky and yeah. The man is hijacking your signal or something.
But half that cipher.
But he did you anyone make out what he said? He said how many people are going to be there, right? How many people to expect on each end? Okay. So, first of all, attacking the convoy, it says that you'd need a vehicle, and there's a price list, which is fairly expensive, and you've expended your funds already. So that's funny. It's $500 for a junker, $1,000 for a more reliable car, $1,500 for a good used van, or $3,000 for the best utility vehicle, capable of off-road use and with power enough to go through anything. Let's see. Oh, it looks like he doesn't have those details. It's assuming in the module that you would choose your plan and then kind of like plan and scout out based on which one that you want to do. Weir doesn't have this kind of information privy, apparently.
So, can you hear me any better now?
Yeah, now you're fine.
Awesome. What I was asking was basically I want to catch them as they're coming out of the truck, because trying to hit an armored truck is kind of pointless. If we can hit them when they're outside of the armored truck, which they have to do to get to the plane, then we stand a pretty good chance of grabbing her, especially and getting away, especially because we're going to be at the airport, right? To get her between the van and the plane.
It's
Take her from that part of the airport to the Zeppelin station.
Yeah, it's a different airport where she's going and where you're going.
Oh, man, of course it is.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Oh yeah, I'm just ripping that picture of Adriana here now. And a lot of pictures. Here we go. Okay, here's the most beautiful woman in the world. 90s hair. Do it.
She is conventionally attractive.
There you go. What'd I say? I'll make Elliot smaller to fit him there. There we go. So there's conventionally attractive Adriana, who is about 20 years old, it says. Also,
that is not a 20-year-old woman.
Yeah, you know, who knows? Okay, so
I had a question.
yes.
This person we're seeking to extract, do they want to be extracted, or should
Yeah,
we?
she knows it's happening.
Okay, good.
And it's been arranged by her father, and the father has told her that it's happening and everything. She's not going to be like, what?
Cool. Just making sure that she had agency in this plotline. And
Yeah. That's a good check. Just make sure that you know she's beautiful. It's very important. That's the actual important thing. So, let's see. Yeah, he'll also give you an airship pass printed in their names, whipped up in a hurry by an assistant. And Adriana's one has a fake identity named Claire Warren, which is a pseudonym for Young, but it matches the Ford identification papers he is also providing you.
Hold on, you expect us to keep track of all this paperwork for 2 days?
Yes.
Well, I'm not.
Okay. If you want reimbursement, then you'll have to.
I mean, someone else can hold the paperwork.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, yeah. I think we could just say that you have like an iPad or some shit, right? Instead of carrying around all these things. But the cipher is very important, apparently. As for the other stuff, we could just say that you've memorized it, right? Got it. So, are people more interested in... Yeah, now it's like, now you're in the planning phase. With the schematics and information.
I would probably lean toward hitting the lab as they're taking her out. I feel like reducing the amount of outside factors such as the public or traffic, especially because we don't seem to be particularly mobile.
It looks like if you want to hit the lab, he'll give you schematics and information. But if you're hitting the convoy, he doesn't know what to expect. Just armed guards and an armored transport for her. Which means you'd get a floor plan, essentially. That's what that translates to. And as a fixer, you can hit him up to get even more information, unless one of you are a fixer, and then you can get more information.
Do you know what company they're using that produced the armored truck?
Well, let's see. He doesn't know anything yet to do the legwork.
Well, let's go find out about the truck, and then we can see.
Yeah, it seems like you
Like-
guys are leaning that way anyway, right? So forget about the warehouse.
Okay. Yeah, information legwork is my jam, basically.
Cool.
So
Okay.
I'll find it out.
Okay. Cool. Sweet. Okay, so we'll just does anyone want to talk to Weir anymore, or should we just cut to y'all framing your own scenes for doing your stuff?
Could we get the schematics anyways?
Sure.
Like even if we don't use them?
Yeah, sure. We'll say that you
Okay.
have them. Which is, yeah, you have like a floor plan that's labeled where each thing is. So you'd be able to, like, go to where she is right away, etc., etc. And yeah, basically discovering the dangers of either thing is like a legwork thing. So you've got the schematics, which we'll say he just like flicks to your iPad or whatever instead of all this paperwork. And so, Ed, do you want to frame a scene in which you're getting this stuff then? And the primary mechanic for this game, it's like World of Dungeons. You tell me what you hope to accomplish. We'll set stakes for that. You'll roll with a state, and we decide the outcome.
Okay. Yeah. So it basically just involves like finding a place to do the like hardwire to the network, and then she starts running programs and algorithms, spiders that do all the like data crawling, harvesting just raw data on car rentals and collating that to who rents armored cars or security companies who have taken jobs in this area recently and if they've rented an armored car and that sort of thing. And hopefully she can find something out about whether or not when they're leaving, if she can find out exactly who's doing it. Maybe I can crack their system and find out what their schedule is.
Sure. Yeah, I like this. It's so trad. It's like this. The characters may choose to attack the convoy rather than the lab. This may be easier, but it is also more public. If the characters take this option, they will not see the laboratory. They will get plenty of clues from Adriana, however, provided they they successfully snatch her. They're just like, maybe they die. Who knows? Okay, cool. So the convoy leaves the lab at 4:30 a.m. in 2 days. And you want to find out more about that stuff. Cool. Okay. So I think the danger is like them finding out that they're in your system, right? Like you're in their system and they might backtrace you to your location. So in the scene that this is, where are you? Are you guys like at a hotel room or some sort of like, yeah, what?
I'm thinking maybe a hotel bar or a coffee shop.
Cool, yeah.
Like,
so just
she's
like
the
if they
sort of like-
backtrace you, can just run out like hacker
Yeah,
style.
exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
You're at Starbucks hacking it up on their
That's
Wi-Fi,
right.
on their Wi-Fi.
And I'm using Elliot Weir's expense card.
Oh, nice. You'll love that.
He's buying coffee. Anybody else want a coffee?
It's true. You could
will
get a
take
latte
it.
and it's like $15 now.
Yeah, right. That's a small latte.
Yeah, exactly. You can get a defining sense of
Okay.
self. Tall, macchiato. Cool. Yeah, so how do you feel doing this?
Let me look at my sheet and see what my options are.
Oh, I'll upload the feeling wheel too. Oh, I think I already have that actually.
Oh, there's a feel wheel.
Yeah, it'll be easier.
Let's see. Powerful, scared, joyful, sad, peaceful, mad. Hello, cat. On you go. Let's go. Well, thank you. I think she feels powerful. I think she always feels powerful when she's on the net.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's your jam, right?
Right. So I'm gonna put a 2 there.
Sounds good. And then roll it up. And then what you'll do is you'll hit the little tick next to powerful, which increases the emotion spike. When you
Okay, so it puts a little dot next to it.
Yeah, it just tracks it for you. And when you roll the opposite of that state, which is sad, I think, if I recall correctly, you'll remove it. But if you ever hit 5 ticks in a specific emotion, which will be pretty rare generally, then you get disadvantage on your next roll. And I kind of frame it as like you're like hitting the far recesses of that emotion for your character.
Okay. Are we rolling dice in the character sheet, or are we doing it in
Roll for
Roll20
your
chat?
party. Yeah, we'll just do it in Roll20, I think. So you put a 2
Okay.
next to it in that thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so you should just be able to hit roll dice, and then it'll pop up, and you just hit powerful, and it should do it for you.
Okay. Powerful. Just no.
There you go. So you got a nice failure there.
Yay!
So, let's see.
Nice juicy failure.
Yeah, so let's see. On a 6 or less, things go badly. What you staked is lost permanently or temporarily at the MC's discretion. So they do the backtrace, right? So you also find out some information in that, like, this is no joke, right? Like, if they were a normal company that was transporting them, it would probably be no problem for you whatsoever. But the fact that they noticed you right away and backtraced you means that this is like a bigger deal than what you maybe initially thought, right? Like they're kind of it's kind of indicative of how important Adriana is to this company in keeping her safe, right? It's a big deal. And then, yeah, what do we see for the rest of the scene? Do you just like get your latte and just sort of like like cheese it out of there, or what?
Yeah, if it looks like pinpointing my location, then they change locations. So yeah, chugs her latte, or no, not even that. She just closes her netbook, takes her latte, computer under the arm or into the pocketbook, and she strides out.
Yeah, it's profesh. Cool. Yeah, you've had to do this before. Do you throw your laptop too? Like your netbook or whatever? You just like throw that in the garbage or what?
No, because I'm confident enough that they won't have gotten information on my netbook.
Just the location.
I think they'll get the location of the switch.
Gotcha. Cool. I like that a lot. Let me just I'll do that next time we go to break, actually, is upload the feeling wheel. I just have to rip it from the PDF, so it might be a little bit annoying. But, so yeah, what is everybody else doing? Does anybody else have an idea for a scene, how they might learn of the things?
I had a dumb idea.
Do it. Dumb idea it up.
I mean, I'm really digging the idea of getting some leverage on their security surveillance systems they're bound to have, and like their security feeds they're bound to have on this convoy.
Mhm.
Whether that's like getting in there and uploading, like, because I've got recording eyes and shit, so like whether that's like putting up a fake loop, so if when we like do the thing, they're none the wiser of what's going on, or whether that's like just having like syncing up to their surveillance feed so I can like keep track of where they are within their own systems. I don't know.
Okay, so you're gonna compromise their systems.
Yeah.
What is your jam? Is this within your purview of skillage?
I think so. I didn't write it down, but I was thinking like seducing systems or like seducing wires or that kind of thing. I think she like uses her like music and the emotion she puts into like her jam and stuff is like particularly swaying on these wires because wires can have feelings too.
Cool. So your serial experiment laning it. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you feel as you
I feel
do this?
feel pretty powerful.
Yeah. You would.
To do some things is my jam.
Cool.
Let me just pull up my sheet.
And what do we say visually too? Like, is it?
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. Describe the scene and what this hacking looks like as if it was a movie or TV show, etc.
Yeah, I guess she's doing it from her house because like she is not as intelligent as to go to a coffee shop and go to some proxy location. So she's in like her little like attic room that's filled with like posters and memes and shit she's like printed off from the internet because she's wasteful and doesn't care about not like sustainability, I guess. And she's got her decks out, like she totally just hacks into stuff with like her record deck thingy. And when she hacks, it's totally the visual of like when you crack a safe, but she's doing it with like her whatchamacallits, the spinner thingies on a vinyl player. So it's a very like it's much in the contrast to when she is doing her jam for a job where she's turntables, thank you. When she's doing her job, it's like hectic and lots of mayhem and stuff. But when she's hacking, it's like this very slow, like controlled, like thought out process. Top tables.
Cool. Tope tables. Yeah. And out.
Oops.
What'd you get?
I got a 9.
Oh, that's pretty good. Sweet. I'm just... Alrighty. Oh, we didn't establish stakes because I was trying to upload this feeling wheel thing, which is just taking a while apparently. But okay, so you're hacking into their surveillance to like supplant it, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So 7 to 9, partial success. You succeed, but there's a catch. A compromise, a complication, retribution to follow. What was at stake is not lost, but it may still be in jeopardy. We didn't establish stakes. So
then I guess I don't lose anything, right?
Yeah. Nice. I see how it is. Cool. I'm going to choose there's retribution to follow later on.
Nice.
Which is a fancy way of me saying I hold a move. Cool. So, nice. When you want to, you can take over their surveillance and make them see whatever it is that they're seeing, right? So when you hit them, the idea is that they can't send like reinforcements and all that kind of stuff. Is that the idea?
Yeah. I specifically had in mind, like, just that trope of like everything's fine, can't see what's happening because the surveillance feed looks good, and then in reality we're fucking shit up.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Who else wants to do a thing? So you've got the surveillance taken care of.
I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to get a car.
Oh,
we're going after a car.
That's true.
Maybe hopefully not going after a car, but just in case we need a car.
Right. Are you going to put it on the Weir card?
No. I'm going to go do an illegal street fight and try and win some pink slips.
Oh, I like this idea. Is anybody coming along with this? This is.
I was going to ask Iota. I think as the train stops, I like drop the cigarette, right? Because the train is on the side, so the window is still at the bottom. So I just drop the cigarette out the window. And it's like, I have an idea.
I love your ideas.
Great. I know about this fight going on, and I think we could win a car. All we gotta do is go beat some people up.
Sometimes we do that not for cars.
I know, right? This is even better. So yeah, that's my. I don't know if jams work for everybody or if it's just aces, but I'm literally a street fighter.
Okay, cool. So you're just going to like a cage match or something like that? Or is it like you go to the Fast and Furious place, but instead of racing them, you'll say that you beat the shit out of them if they don't give you a pig slip?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. It's a street fight, so the fight's happening on the street. No cages.
Okay, so what is it that you're staking for this?
I don't know. I don't have much to my name right now.
Okay, so are
But,
you
you
lying
know
to
what?
them?
No, I'm gonna put up Elliot's debit card.
Oh, that's a bad. Okay, sounds good. You
for
lose, they take the credit card.
yeah. Sorry, you guys.
Holy shit, okay. That's an interesting thing.
I mean, unless Iota, do you have a better idea?
I mean, we could. I'd be willing to offer, services. Not like that. But we take jobs. I don't know. Maybe that's not like we'll do a job for free. I'll do a job for free.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go with that. I think
Yeah, that could
Omen
be.
hates.
But you're about to take a job, so if they basically out of character, it's like probably gonna be they want a job when you're doing this job or something like that, right? Something like that happening. Because
Okay
we all know this is a cross-country mega adventure, so as the characters.
I mean, it's either that or the debit card.
Yep.
I'm into that. I think that's good, right? There's some idea that we like are good at our job, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be like, if we win, we want your car, and if we lose, you don't have to pay us for a job.
Cool. I'm gonna see what they're like 5 out of 6, so it's gonna be pretty tough. Cool. That's just a fortune roll for y'all to know that. Cool. And is this like okay? So
I think maybe to remove some conflicts, like being like, we're heading to Night City. If there's something you need done there.
okay.
That's good.
Yeah. All right, cool. So they'll do that. Let's see how this fight goes then. So let's get a Pinterest of this fellow that you're trying to beat.
Is his name Brick?
Sure. That sounds good. Let's go with you're gonna beat up the guy with the American flag on his head.
Yes, I'm so glad he made an appearance.
Yeah. So he's cybered out. He's got like he doesn't have normal hands anymore. They're cybernetics all the way up to his neck. He has like those neck muscles that you don't need at all, like the ones that like Mark Wahlberg has and stuff like that, the extra muscles. And he's clearly augmented. He's got like an American flag bandana tied on his head. He's black. He's got a cigar in his mouth. He's got like these goggles on. His belt buckle is like a eagle that's spreading its wings and it's gold and shit. He looks like he's pretty like ex-military, and he's looking like he's pretty confident in messing you up pretty good. Sound good? So what's the opening move?
It's 2 against 1.
Oh, you're both fighting? Yeah, sure. Yeah, he'll take you both on.
Oh. What kind of cool team moves do we have,
He has
Iota?
extra muscles.
Maybe, I think in street fights, Omen doesn't use a sword. So I think maybe I'm just gonna open with, what do people do in street fights? I'm just gonna punch him, right?
Sure. Sounds good. So, I think the clear stake here is just like an exchange of harm, right?
Yeah.
And he's got augmented hands, so he's going to be doing double the damage, 2 harm instead of 1. What are you using? Just regular fists? So that's 1 harm.
I want to keep it fair.
Okay, sounds good. And much the same as I have some like Blades DNA in this role as well, which is you say what it is you wish to accomplish. So essentially, you could make it like a desperate role, even right, where you're like, this role I want to actually like knock him the fuck out, but then we increase the stakes, right? So that it'll be like instead of you taking 2 harm, you'll be taking like 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's a no. I think that I just want to make an opening for Iota.
Okay, cool. This is the like feint, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So how do you feel? Are you powerful?
No, I think I'm mad. I think Omen like hates street fighting. He's just good at it.
Oh yeah, I hate that I'm so good. It's a rough life. Cool.
I don't see it. No, I don't have any states spelled out though.
Yeah.
Is he like good at being mad? Well,
He's
yeah, I
in-
just said he's good at being mad. Because
Yeah.
he's good at street fighting, and if he street fights when he's, or if he's mad when he does that, then he's getting mad. Okay, let me just make a roll here. Normal, attribute mad. Is there no other modifier?
14. That's a big one. Okay, so on a 12 plus, a total beyond 12 is a critical success. You gain additional benefit, effect, or advantage in the doing now or later. What is your additional effect? What would you like? Do you want to give advantage to your booster friend?
Wait, I thought that was like the normal effect.
Yeah. So you're hurting him as well, though, right?
Am
I thought so.
Wait,
I thought
hold
you were.
on.
I thought you were inflicting harm and making an opening for your friend, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes the most sense.
So do you want to do more harm than you initially intended, or like what is the additional benefit you think? Because you're already giving them advantage by succeeding.
Yeah, let's just do additional harm. Keep
Okay.
it safe.
Okay, so you do double the harm, which means that your punch lands as if it was cybernetic like his, right?
Heck
So
yeah,
he's
man.
probably like actually dazed, and that's when Iota comes in. Iota, what do you do? This guy is dazed as fuck.
So I feel like there are definitely like some sweet flips involved, like a handstand into like a downward kick, like onto his neck or something. I'm trying to end this.
Okay, so you want to knock him out entirely.
Yes.
You've already done 2 harm. Out of character, he's a booster as well, which means that he can take 6 harm if he was the same level as you, which I'll be nice and say that he is. So you need to do 4 harm. He's dazed, so you have advantage. We'll say that you'll be staking. He'll just get a punch in because he's dazed, right? So if you fail this roll, then you'll take 2 harm. And if it's a mid result, it's probably just going to be an exchange of harm.
Okay.
Okay, good. And you have advantage, right? So 3 dice. which I think it will ask you when you click the roll dice thing, right? And how is Iota feeling?
I wasn't sure. I think I want to play foil to Omen. I think Iota is joyful. I think that they're having a lot of fun.
Nice.
But I'm going to only put a 1 advantage. Did it not work for her?
Well, I don't know what that did. Oh, yeah. If you click roll dice, it should do it for you.
That's what I did.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah.
Did you put a plus in there? Because it should be no pluses.
No.
Oh. Okay.
I'm wondering if it's a problem because of how I formatted my name, like my character's name.
Yeah, with that vertical line.
Or something. So let me just simplify that. All right. Advantage. Joyful. No modifiers.
Oh, yeah, you were right. Wow, and you guys are beating this guy senseless. I was like, oh, yeah, he's hardcore. He's a big one. And you're all like, fuck you. Okay, so critical success, additional benefit, effect, advantage. What do you think that is? So he's knocked out, and I guess you guys just pick up his vehicle, car keys, right? Because he's knocked out on the ground.
No, it's it's a good clean fight. We get the pink slip, we get the key. It's a legal transaction.
Sure. Yeah. He's already signed the back of the pink slip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's the additional benefit, though?
I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, maybe we just won some money, right? Like people would still be betting on the fight.
Sure.
So we just won the pot.
Why don't you roll a d6 and then times it by 10, and that's what you make. Oh, there you go. We'll say 500 instead. That 50 seems low. Never mind. Yeah, we'll do times it by 100. $50. Yes, I could go to the Quickie Mart. Sweet. Yeah, so we'll say 500. So you take the pot as well. I like that a lot. That is good. So you've got your vehicle. What is it? What is this vehicle? Is it the best thing that it says on the Convoy thing? Is it a used utility vehicle capable of off-road use and with power enough to go through anything?
So I feel like it's that, except like this guy souped it out so much that it's actually like less functional.
Yeah. Okay,
it's got like massive tires.
Massive tires and a big muffler and stuff, so it's like not silent. We're all hoping to like ghost up to these people, and it's just like
well, I realized we said that like luxury cars and like rich people drive, so it's probably a very legal car anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Whoops. Well, you know, here we are.
I mean, but it's exciting just to have any vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so then we come to Ratchet. What is Ratchet doing?
Man, I don't know how I'm going to top kick flipping a guy in the neck to steal his wheels. I think I'm gonna like wait outside the lab. Like I'm gonna physically scope out the lab and see if anyone comes out of it that looks like they kind of belong there. Want to make a contact.
Contact?
Mm.
For someone on the convoy, or what?
Yeah, like I'm imagining this lab has like some sort of security, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. Like waiting for someone to come off their shift
Cool.
to leave the lab.
All right.
And then I'm going to
Let's see.
follow them on my bike.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And rev it really loudly.
Okay. Is the intention to scare them or what?
No, I think the intention is to be attractive, Fraser. Like, you know, I'm going to...
You're seducing them by following
I'm going to
them?
seduce them with my bike. I'm going to ride up beside them, and I'm going to rev it once and then raise my eyebrow. And then I'm going to rev it twice and then raise my eyebrows twice.
Okay. Do you have a picture for the person that you would like to seduce?
I do, but you've already used the only picture of the conventionally attractive. No, short answer is I don't have a picture. Let me find.
Here's a biker.
Yeah. I want a dude with some muscles.
This guy's got a cyber arm.
We already beat up the guy with muscles.
There can't be two people with muscles.
Let me check this. Oh, there's my Pinterest thing.
That's a fellow with a bike. Maybe he's a
yes,
bike too. And you're
definitely
revving engines at each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, wait for the the hired security guy that's got a bike and then ride on it. I'm like, nice, nice ride.
And let's see, what is his name? What's a good futuristic name? Maybe his name is we'll say that you know how it has like on the guard's front like what their names or whatever. His name is Pitch.
Ooh, Pitch is a good strong name.
Yep.
I like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what do you think is at stake at this? So you're trying to, allure him, right?
I am. I'm trying to like, get into to drop us some details or to, I'll ask him casually about his work. As bikers do pillow talk.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think what's at stake is maybe like my questioning is a little bit too direct and I'll tip them off that something's going to go down.
Cool. I like that. Yeah, can probably he's a security guard. He can look up faces and stuff.
Yeah.
Mark you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, I need to be unforgettable, but also forgettable.
Right. You got to Jason Bourne him. What, how do you feel, Ratchet?
I think if Ratchet's getting to play with a bike and getting his rocks off, I think this is joyful.
Right. That makes sense.
Mm.
Everyone's having just the best time.
Which it was the standard thing, wasn't it? Let's say I don't think Ratchet's a particularly joyful person. Let's make this a flat roll. How does that sound?
Sure.
And then roll dice. Difficulty normal. Attribute joyful. Other modifiers. Oh, let's go.
Boom. Fail.
That's not a good one. It's not what you want, Fraser.
Yeah, it's not the best. Okay, so well, what information do you get? And then we'll what are you trying to get from him? And then we'll say that he does mark you so that I'll basically have 2 misses to spend
so I think
tomorrow.
I think as I'm oh yeah, it's a shame that you probably won't be around tomorrow, right? You're probably going to be at work. You're not going to be at the office tomorrow. Yeah, are you going with a lot of people? Is this something you do often? Yeah, this is interesting.
First give me the scene of how you're able to swoon him, right? Is it just do we just see
so I reckon it's
Ratchet do the
yeah, I reckon the shot is these 2 bikes alongside each other.
Yeah.
This Morse code communication of revs and eyebrows.
Right.
And then just smash cut to visceral making out up against the wall. Lauren, I beat you to making out in a game.
No, I just made out with a computer.
That's true. You did what should we call it? Sway the wires, right?
You did seduce the wires.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just like hard smash cut to the bikes like leaning up against a wall in a haphazard fashion. The two of us up against a wall in a haphazard fashion.
Cool. And so
so much leather. So much leather.
Lots of leather.
Mm.
Cool. And then maybe he'll say like he's like quite excited about his promotion where he's getting to accompany the convoy for once, and only like the best guards get to do that, right? And he's like, it sucks though because I have to wake up so early. They're leaving at 4:30 in the morning. Like, who leaves at 4:30 in the morning, right? People that want to go to the airport, I guess.
Yeah. People that are on that specific flight. What flight was it again that you were trying to catch?
I don't know.
That one.
Yeah, it's a private charter flight from Kennedy Airport, but I don't know the actual number. But it's pretty cool. They're giving us these vehicles that are like blacked out, and there's a van, and I get to finally carry like a machine pistol.
Oh, cool.
In the van. It's gonna be awesome. They never let me hold the gun in the lab because there was an accident one time, not by me, someone else, and there's valuable stuff in there. And we get to escort a limousine with 3 more guards, not as good as me, and a supervisor who's an asshole named Corey. So he's an asshole. Like, Corys are always assholes, right? And we're just taking some lab assistant to a meeting in like San Diego or something. That's what we were told.
And of course, being a stuffy lab assistant, she's probably riding in the limousine, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not in the van with us.
No.
Because let me tell you, conventionally, she's very attractive. I'd like for her to be in the van.
I feel like we've probably gone like too long in this relationship. I should ask this guy his name, but I feel like it's been too long now and it's like awkward. So,
he just like
how do you spell that again?
He just like looks down at his uniform that still has the badge on it, and is it like crumpled on the floor or something? And he's like, pitch, Pitch. It took me a while too, though. I don't blame anybody.
He's a silly man, but I like him. Man, I really like this guy. He's such a nice dude. Man, Pitch, just stay home tomorrow. Just don't go to work, man. You don't need to.
It's like,
I need to be a part of it.
I just got promoted, though.
Bitch.
Are you gonna try to convince him though with a role?
Yeah. I don't want Pitch to be there because he'll recognize me, and I also don't want Pitch to be there because I don't want him to get hurt.
Okay, but I'll say that the stakes is that he'll notice and it'll escalate to violence here, right now.
Oh, Pitch.
He understands finally about this probing. Where he just feels used and angry and wants to hurt you.
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
I'm gonna be sad this time, I think. Razor, sad because I don't want Pitch to get hurt.
Makes sense. Well, there you go. It's a little bit of both.
It's not nothing.
Yeah. So it's a partial success. There's a catch, a compromise, a complication, or retribution to follow. What was at stake is not lost, so you do the thing. But what is he'll provide... Yeah, I think after this, whatever goes down, like he's gonna not go to work, right? But obviously once this information hits the net and stuff, he's gonna disseminate your information. He's gonna talk, right?
After the fact, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
After the fact. So just
I
get some
will.
heat.
I will come on back and make it up to him after that. I'm sure.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, you just swing it back.
Yeah, the business card thing that we did is that a common practice? Like paper business cards?
Oh yeah, it seems like it. Seems like yeah, I've got literally 8 of them scanned in. So
Right. I've probably got a good like. I don't even think I'd have a paper business card. I'll just write my number on his hand. Just leave. That's a nice thing.
Sounds good. So we just get the shot of you like padding out in the wee morning.
Yep, picking my bike up, straddling it, riding off into the dark acid rain.
Is there like neon lights and stuff on your bike, or what? What does it look like?
Yeah, it's the bike itself when it's turned off is like a matte black, and then when I turn it on, it's just like it's got those underlights that people in the western suburbs of Sydney put on their cars. It's like a blue on one side and like a cyan on one side and a taupe on the other. And then just like along the sides of it, it's just like LEDs that flash in sequence.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. In Pitch's, wherever you are or I don't know if you were in Pitch's apartment or this was all taking part in like a back alley somewhere or something.
Yeah, I was thinking alley, but sure.
Sure. So is there like bisexual lighting in the alleyway? Is it like behind a neon sign or something like that?
Oh, it's probably it's like the alley next to a club, and the lighting from inside spills out to the alley, so it's all like strobe lights and chasers, but with no music. So it's just like that weird eerie wash of a live lighting.
Nice, I love it. Okay. So with that, do y'all want to proceed with hitting this convoy action?
Surely we're ready.
There honestly isn't that much else to find out. It's very like most of it is like if they hit the lab, this is what's going on. If they hit the convoy, it's like okay, I guess. Here's some stuff about that, I guess. Yeah, cool. And out of character in a funny way, the surveillance thing actually like really matters. Like the like I would have made it matter no matter what, obviously, but in the module, doing the surveillance thing is quite good. It will help you. So, do we just cut to like an action shot of the convoy leaving at like 4:30 a.m. and you guys enacting your plan? Or what? Do other people want to still try to do some stuff or what? Technically, you have like a whole another day to wait, right?
Can we get any messages to Adriana?
How would you do that?
Looking at the pushes.
She's expecting you, right?
Yeah, but like to let her know that this is when it's going to happen, so she's not like wondering at every step of the way.
Well, like it's presupposed that you tell Weir what your plan is, and then it would be relayed via the doctor.
Okay.
So, knowing all that, are we cutting to the job? Yes. Yeah. Cool. Okay, sounds good. Let's see. So just like Pitch said, and I guess they're like a man down, right? They're like, oh no, Pitch didn't show up for work. What the Oh, interesting, actually. Yes, yeah, that's right. So just like he said, what pulls out is a van and a limousine. And if you want to know anything about these cars, I've got the stats. So like how fast they go, how much fuel consumption they use, what is literally installed in the limousine. Spoilers, there's a fucking radio, okay?
Are they better cars than the one that Iota and I won?
Well, I was picturing like a street car thing that you took, right? So I'm assuming it's better. Like you said that it was like tricked out, right?
Nice.
Yeah, it's a large black van. Seats 2 in the front, 5 in the back, but there isn't that many people in it now. There's only looks like there was going to be 3, right? So now there's 2 in there, and then you're not sure how many people in the limousine, I think, right? But it seats 3 up front and 6 in the back. Wow. Also, there's a reminder for me: don't spoil the suspense. So that's good. All right. So what's the plan? How do you hit this thing?
So we've got a big truck, right? That we basically won off of those guys.
Yeah, sounds like an off-roading vehicle of some kind, right?
Is the van driving in front of the limo?
Yes, it is an escort.
Okay. So we wait for the van to move through an intersection.
Yeah.
And we have to time it just right so that we plow into the front of the, like T-bone the front of the limo.
Right.
And then grab her out of the limo while they're still while they're still driving on and figuring out what's going on and turning around and coming back. We crashed the limo, grabbed the target, paddled her into the off-road vehicle, and hit the road.
Okay. So who's doing the beginning part? It sounds like whoever's driving the vehicle.
Yeah, who's driving?
Yeah. Does someone have a particular skill set that would be good for this? Like Ratchet?
I mean, it's certainly an option.
Because your thing is all about you're synced with a motorcycle, right? But
I am.
Potentially, you could be a good driver.
Well, potentially.
Yeah. Cool. So is that the plan? You're gonna smash into the lead vehicle?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go super hard, super loud into that lead vehicle and try and get it all done in about 30 seconds.
Oh,
in and out.
Profesh.
Just like with pitch.
Cool. So let's say the stakes are if you no, that's too mean. I was gonna say like maybe the car is too damaged right after, but that would be bad for you guys. Why don't we say the response is like quicker than you expected is the stakes, right? Like you hit them and you expect them all to be like pitch, but some of them are actually trained.
Yeah. All right.
So they'll be basically what we'll put on the line for this is how quick they react. Either they'll be reacting in such a way that the next roll, by the time somebody does something else, they'll be like out and about and ready to do some shit, or they'll still be like reeling in the car and shit like that, right?
Sounds good.
Cool. So how do you feel?
I think we feel powerful. Yes. I feel powerful. I'm driving a car into another car. This is powerful AF.
Cool.
You know what? I'm probably pretty one in powerful. So let's roll this. Any questions before I start rolling? Good. That is an 8.
End result. Cool. So you do the thing. We see the vehicles smash into the lead one and like skid to a stop, right? With like the wheels driving against the pavement there. And let's see. What's the hiccup here? Oh, I think they start rearing their tires. Like they start squealing back against you. And so for the moment, you're like, having to contend with that. You can't just like hop out and deal with them. Everybody else in the vehicle could, but you're gonna have to like continue to, counterforce them.
Yeah, that's great. We're just giving each other raised eyebrows through the windshields.
Yeah, it just zooms in on each of your faces, and you're like, da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na. Cool. So who's doing the next action? What happens next?
I would love to take an action, if I may. I think that Omen, what I want to do is I want to leap out of the car on top of the limousine.
Cool.
And then, like, I don't know, open a door, maybe shove a sword through the roof. Who knows? Something careless.
Well, if you hit somebody. Okay. So you're going to make a door with the sword.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. I like that. It makes sense that they start shooting up at you.
I guess.
You think?
Yeah.
Cyber doggo. Yeah, nice. Okay, so how do you feel like making this hole with your sword?
I think that in contrast, and a little bit of a contrast to street fighting, what's my character's name? Omen is pretty at peace during these like missions. He likes the high adrenaline stuff. It's exciting.
So like on screen, do we even hear the music, or is it just like all fades away or whatever?
Oh yeah, maybe the moment is like the car hits the limo and there's like the loud crash and then the sound cuts and you just see Omen, why am I forgetting my character's name? Omen like leap out of the window and like do like a very graceful little spin or something onto the limousine.
Cool.
Yep.
Hit me. Y'all gonna get
Difficulty
shot.
normal. No, wrong attribute. I clicked too fast. Attribute peaceful. Submit. Submit.
9. That's pretty good. Cool.
Good.
So a compromise. Let's see. Compromise. Oh, I know. I'm gonna roll fortune roll 2. I think what happens is you don't get shot, right? But what happens is you like, what do they do? What happens is they shoot up, and in order to not be shot, you have to like roll off of the top, right? Like we see the rounds getting like blasted up in there, and then you have to like abandon your sword sticking out of the metal for a second there, or get shot. It's up to you. Do you want to keep going and get shot, or what? I'll say that the roof is open if you continue, but you'll take harm. Or you can be safe and not have your weapon.
No, I wanna keep my sword. This is too nerve-wracking to be separated from my sword. I spent $500 on it.
Okay, so that's good. I want to see how much harm they do. Oh, they only do 1 harm on you anyway. Do you have armor?
No.
Okay, well, it's too bad.
I spent all my money.
Okay, so mark a harm box.
Marked.
And then what else is somebody doing? What do we cut to? What else is happening? Is the limousine being hacked? Is Iota going to do something? What is it?
So I want to use my optics.
Uh-huh.
I have the tags infrared and thermographic.
Cool.
So I want to try and see if I can just sort of get an idea of who is in what car and like how many people we have, and if it looks like Adriana is in the limo actually.
Okay. I don't think that would be a roll then. You see that she is in the limousine.
Mhm.
There's 3 people in the limousine and 2 people in the van, and yeah, and the people in the van don't feel safe abandoning it at the moment because they're getting pushed by the vehicle relentlessly. So knowing that, what do you do?
I think I would like to try and help Omen with the roof situation. I think getting Adriana's out of there as soon as possible is important. So
Okay, so you after you hear them like reloading or something like that, you just like I said that if you stayed, then the door would be open. So you see like um Omen get clipped a little bit, like maybe it grazes the shoulder or something like that with a spray of blood. But otherwise, as you get up on the vehicle, the hole in the roof is opened, and you see Adriana there, and she's actually like, she's got a briefcase attached to her, like one of those handcuffs to it, right? Like to her hand into the briefcase, and she's actually as you look down, you see her wearing like some pretty stylish boots, and the boot like heel cracks into the guy, and there's like a spray of blood as she's like on your side and like helping you, right? Like, so one guy is just being like, you know, kicked, sucker kicked, I guess, by Adriana, and then 2 of them are just reloading their weapons. What do you do?
yes, I think I jump up on top of the limo and like, reach my hand down. I think I reach one hand down to Adriana, and I think I want to try and like slice through one of the goons' guns in the car so that they can't shoot it.
Okay, so you're gonna use one hand to like lift her up and the other hand to like slice a weapon or whatever?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I think let me check something real quick. Okay, so one guy, we'll say that the stake is that one of the 2 will be done reloading and shoot you for 2 harm. That's what's at stake. Or you disable their weapon and get her to safety. Is that safe, or is that agreeable?
Yes.
How do you feel?
I'm gonna lean into our Wonder Twin, like, I don't know, thing we've got, and I think I am mad because Omen got hurt.
Cool.
But how am I when I'm mad? Alright.
Cool. Mixed result. Ooh. So, a complication. Oh, I know the complication. So, you do this, like one of the barrels gets cut, right? And the guy's like, fuck. And you raise Adriana out, and it's very impressive, right? With one hand. It's very good. Very good. But the complication is that the limousine starts backpedaling, and at the same time, the van, the guy who is not driving realizes that he can get out, and he like rolls out and raises a weapon and points it at Doom. What do you do, Doom?
Okay, so I was talking to, I can't remember Lauren's character's name all of a sudden.
Bina.
Lauren. I was talking to Bina, and we were going to team up to hack the cars.
Oh, cool.
I think it's at this point it's probably a good idea just to hack the limo.
Right.
And I just want to override the accelerator, shift it into drive, and floor it at the guy coming out of the van.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that very much. Okay, and you're working together on this then?
Correct.
Okay, I'll give you advantage then. And
Okay.
yeah, so how do you feel as this is happening? Also, we get a shot of the other person in the vehicle pushing like a distress thing, like a distress panic thing, which I'm supposed to roll 1d10 of Nocros reinforcements. But instead we get a shot of the surveillance being fine, right? Like the distress signal never happens, and we just see like the street cameras oscillating normally and stuff like that. And then we do like a jump cut right back to y'all hacking this limo, right? What does that look like on screen?
I think that we have our devices plugged in together. So like I've got my laptop with all of its accessories plugged into her turntable deck, and we are literally rocking out.
Cool. In the back seat of
she's
the
like-
vehicle, or in a different
We're
vehicle?
rocking out in the back seat of the off-road thing.
Cool.
I mean, because I've got a pistol if I need one, but I'd much rather be doing it this way.
Right, totally.
So yeah, she's hacking with her turntables, and I'm typing away. And yeah, we're just gonna like crack the radio frequency that the car's running on, hack into its computer, override its systems, and floor it. Since we've got the target out, all we need to do is get away at this point.
Yeah,
So,
awesome. Okay, so how do you feel?
Bonus. I am doing this as joyful because we are enjoying ourselves very much.
Right.
Because we're hackers and we're hacking.
Yes. 8. So complication. I think that he lets out a couple bullets, and I'm gonna see which one he hits. Y'all in the car. It will be Bina gets plugged.
No.
Too hard to Bina unless you have armor. No, he gets to all of you did 5 armor. So just 2 harm. It's fine. It's fine. So where do you get hit, Bina?
Oh man, that is. I mean, I kind of Oh, that wouldn't count as harm. I kind of dig like because if I rely upon my veil goggles for like being able to hack stuff and things like that, if a bullet like the visual of like cracking like one eye of that kind of thing, so I can only like see out of one eye.
Oh, cool.
And then I guess another one goes into me. I don't
know. Sure. Okay. Well, it could just be like the visor shocks and you get like, or gets broken and you get shocked or something like that too. Right? That's definitely a staple of the genre where it's like, oh no, I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, I'm totally
that feedback.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
It hurts us. Cool. And then we get a shot of the limo just like running down this guy, right? And I think it hits the side of the van so forcefully that it starts rolling, right? Like over top of the other. And then I guess we just get a shot of the limo just speeding off down the street, right? Like, because they can't stop it. And the guy doesn't want to like die by like maneuvering it into like a fire hydrant or like so yeah, it just goes speeding down the street, and then maybe the closing shot is like the Jeep Wrangler looking thing that you're in or whatever, right? The retro one starts squealing, like the tires squeal, and then we get the smoke, and then you speed down the other way with everybody on board and heading towards the airport. Does that sound good? Here's a question, Sydney. What does the license plate say? He's got a vanity plate, probably, right?
Which one? Sorry, the limo?
Or no, the Wrangler that you're driving. What is the like closing shot on the?
Oh, it was the big meaty guy with the arms and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably like PNCH USA. So like Punch USA.
Yeah. Sounds good. And then the credits roll and we get new retro wave playing.
Wow.
Continued. And because of this game, we can do quick XP and that will be fine. So, where did I write that? At the very bottom. So, 500 XP for a tough job. So everyone can take 500 XP, but you also get 1 XP for every Eurodollar that you get, unless it's your day job. Only ED earned in service to subverting or hurting an institution directly perpetuating capitalism and oppression counts towards XP, which I think this counts towards. So you get 3,000 XP at the end of the session, which brings you to level 2 in a bit.
Do Iota and I get 500 tip XP?
No, because that is
What?
not against something. That's not against an institution directly perpetuating capitalism and oppression, is it? The straight fight?
I mean, we were extorting a subversion of capitalism that these people have to do. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's good though. I like the try. And so level 2 gets you a harm box, an extra harm box, so things hurt a little bit less. And level 3 gets you an extra class slot. Woohoo!
What
All
are
right.
class slots for the booster? What am I doing with those?
You can do more of those maneuvers, right? Each time you do any of those maneuvers, it gets consumed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so I'm doing this thing.
Yeah, and so yeah, you just get better at doing the melee maneuvers, basically. You can do more than one at a time in a session and stuff. And they're pretty powerful things. So there's like 8 different maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And that was the first session of Land of the Free. Whoa. So let's do. I'm going to stop the broadcast and then we'll do Wishes and Stars, and nobody who's watching gets to see it. Mahaha. Anyway, goodbye.